it's Relationships at Work, the leadership podcast helping you build workplace connection, improve culture, and avoid blind spots. I'm your host, Russel Lolacher, communications and leadership expert, a couple of decades of experience in both those areas, and a measurable heap of curiosity, just like you, on how we can make the workplace better. Today, we got ourselves a repeat performance. Pulled from the Relationships at Work library, I'm sharing a popular solo episode with you while I work on reworking the show. That's right, we're changing the format, we're changing the delivery, we're changing how everything's set up and the themes. If this new information for you, I'd go back to the last solo episode I did last week where I break it all down so you have some idea of what the hell I'm talking about. I'm excited. I'm excited to get started next week while also making sure, you know what, I didn't want to just leave you hanging. I wanted to give you a little something to help shift your mindset for the week ahead. And why not pull a popular episode back to the forefront? So whether this is a reminder or you're hearing it for the first time, our focus this week, how to recognize our undervalued employees. One of the most reoccurring topics of conversation I've had with people who are unhappy specifically in their jobs is the feeling of being unheard, unseen, and undervalued. I know I've actually felt this quite a bit throughout my career as well. Feeling undervalued can be just such a poison as it just eats away at you, your self-esteem, your mental health. A Gallup poll found that 65% of American workers felt underappreciated in their jobs. 65! A Workhuman survey found employees of color, 49.3%, and women, 48.8%, were more likely to report feeling somewhat valued than the average of value, so below. Comparably, found feeling unappreciated as well as being underpaid was the number one reason people say they would quit their jobs, followed next by a lack of career advancement. This is a problem. This is a big problem. There will be a million reasons why we as leaders don't make this effort or even have it on our radar. A lot of it has to do with just being too busy or not paying attention enough to our teams or how they're feeling or these temperature checks or taking those temperature checks seriously. Hell, I created a whole list of 7 deadly sins of leadership that actually demonstrate and show the things that we do as leaders, consciously or unconsciously, that prevent us from connecting with our teams and providing that recognition. So I think we can both agree that we can absolutely do better and we should do better. Even if we're really good at this, I think there's some awareness and fine-tuning that can always be prioritized. I've shared on the podcast and in our Raw Note newsletter some of the small gestures that we can make to have huge positive impacts on employees. Today, I want to highlight the warning signs we need to pay attention to that our teams are not feeling as valued as they should. How does that undervaluedness show up? Number 1, decreased engagement. Employees might start showing less enthusiasm for their work, participating less in meetings, or stopping to contribute ideas. When employees get quiet, we need to be paying attention. Number 2, reduced productivity. There may be a noticeable drop in the quality and quantity of their work as they no longer feel motivated, because feeling undervalued doesn't really help with motivation. Why should they do this extra bit of work or improve the quality of their work if they don't feel what they do matters? Number 3, increased absenteeism. An increase in sick days or absenteeism, avoiding the workplace altogether when they feel underappreciated, is pretty common. People want to go where they feel wanted, so they're going to look for any opportunity not to show up. Number 4, passive compliance. Instead of taking initiative or going above and beyond, they might do the bare minimum required. They're really showing a lack of interest in exceeding any type of expectations. Here's where your quiet quitting sits. It's not that they're not doing the job, they're just not doing anything more than is absolutely required. And as leaders, we have a role to play in this. We are impacting this, and we need to pay attention. Number 5, expressing frustration or negativity. Employees might start expressing their dissatisfaction through things like negative comments, complaining about work or management, or showing frustration with their tasks. These can show up in meetings. These can show up online. They can show up in town halls. Feeling undervalued it continues to build up over time. As I mentioned at the top, it feels like a poison that just eats at you. So of course you need an outlet, or you're going to bottle that up all inside. It'll cause staff to lash out. Number 6, seeking external validation. If you start noticing your employees, your team, starting to look for recognition outside of work, such as starting hobbies or seeking appreciation from other social groups a lot more than they're ever attempting to in the workplace, that's a big flag. Well, if they can't get it at work, why wouldn't they? Number 7, frequent job searching. How often are your teams in fancy clothes? Are they dressing up? Or have extended doctor appointments suddenly all the time? They may be updating their resumes. They may be increasing their job searching, attending job interviews. They're planning their escape. Number 8, decline in professional development. They might show less interest in professional development opportunities, things like training sessions or advancing their skills in any way, because they're feeling that their efforts won't be recognized. Why invest in myself and moving further when this organization and my leadership doesn't care about me? And last, one of the most telltale signs that your staff is feeling undervalued: visible stress or burnout. Signs of these things like irritability, fatigue, emotional exhaustion, they're going to become more apparent, especially when employees feel undervalued and underappreciated. When staff are burnt out, it's even worse when they feel like it doesn't matter, that they are doing everything in their power to deliver, to do what they're told, to cross that finish line, get to that goal. And if your bosses and your leaders are just moving on to the next thing without any recognition, without any care, without any consideration, what are they burning themselves out for? So as leaders, pay attention. Watch for changes in behavior. Have regular one-on-one conversations with your team members. Conduct those surveys, those exit interviews, and pay attention to the results. We can't just do the thing where we ask questions and not follow up on what those results are. Get involved. Feeling undervalued, I can't stress this enough. It feels like a poison. And based on the stats I shared, it's being administered, that poison, far too often. We have an opportunity to ensure our people feel wanted, valued, and part of a greater vision. Their work has worth, and we need to attach and tie those two things together. But if we're blind to their experience, we're part of the problem. That's it. Did that inspire you to maybe pay a little bit more attention, to think a little deeper about the experience your employees are having? Great. I know as a great leader yourself, you're learning, you're trying, and this is just one more area that we need to spend a lot of time on. And that'll do it for the last Thursday mini episode of Relationships at Work, the Leadership Podcast, helping you build workplace connection, improve culture, and avoid blind spots. I say last Thursday, but if you went back and listened to the last solo episode, you know that they're just moving to Friday. You're not losing these. They're very popular. Why would I stop doing them? So I'm moving this to Fridays now. So Thursday will be part of the reformatting with the guest I have that particular week. So super excited. I hope you'll join me on Monday, where this whole new format thing for Relationships at Work kicks off. As I've said before, and I'll say again, love to hear your feedback. I want to make sure it's of value to you. If the new format's working for you, give me an email, hello@russellolacher.com, or you can find me in the usual spots on Instagram, on Threads, on LinkedIn, those places. Anyway, I look forward to hearing from you, and take care of yourself. Bye.